in world and the Caribbean music, local culture, and top personalities. Mad 97 FM is We Own. Coming up in this.
Ladies, Mr. Rock and come in. Girl power, pull the lock and come in, yeah. All the queens just stop and come in. All the queens just stop and come in. You are the queen. Hey ladies, this is Melissa Davey. Join me on Mad 97.5 FM Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. for Girl Power. Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Hi guys, this is Poonam Singh and you're listening to Selector Kush.
Heartbeat in my mind racing up. You can hear the screams and sirens in the cut. I did travel. See a cup, got a truck. That's why I got the 9 in my pocket for. Gotta drop before you kicking down the door. Christian Dior. We was about to send 100 packs through your neighborhood. If you could trap, I knew my baby would. I never knew I would have to face the music. I know they gon' bum rushes. We gotta keep on moving. I got introduced to slanging and I keep on choosing it. I see the helicopters moving in. I thought if you took a loss, you just lose the win. Crawling on the floor, trying to get the dough. Flush it down the toilet before they give me with the fork.
We're in the home stretch. With a hard time. With a hard left. But we're alright. Yeah, life sure can try to put love to it, but we built this right. So nothing's ever gonna move it when the bones are good. The rest don't matter. Let us make a feel. The glass could shatter. Let it rain. 'Cause you and I remain the same. When there ain't a crack in the foundation, baby, I know when it's gone, we're fixing up. Over while we stay put. The house don't fall in the bones.
If I woke up without you, I could be true for everything I met you. Usually don't be falling fast. You got a way of keeping me coming back. Can't say no, Lord. Sign is life.
65, baby.
If I woke up without you, I don't know what I would do. Thought I could be single forever till I met you. Usually don't be falling fast. You got a way of keeping me coming back to back. I just found out the only reason that you loving me was to get back. So it's never but before you leave. Usually I would never even care. Baby, I know you're creeping. I feel it in the air. Every night and every day. I try to make you stay, but your heart been broke so many times. I don't know what to believe. Heart been broke so many times. I don't know what to believe. Mama say it's my fault. I wear my heart on my sleeve. Think it's best I put my heart on ice, 'cause I can't breathe. I'ma put my heart on ice. Getting the best of me. She told me put my heart in the bag. Ain't nobody gets hurt. Now I'm running from your love. I'm not fast, so I'm making it worse. Now I'm digging up a grave for my past. I'm on running. She told me put my heart in the bag. Ain't nobody gets hurt. Now I'm running from your love. I'm not fast, so I'm making it worse. Now I'm digging up a grave for my past. I'm a whole different person. It's a gift and a curse, but I cannot reverse it. I can't reverse it. It was a gift and a curse, and now I'm drinking too much, so I'ma talk with a slur. Last time I saw you, I ain't tryna die young, so I gotta ride with one. Stood 10 toes down in my Balenciaga. He ran out on it, that's a shot. Cold hearted with the block, I block out. Gotta keep it up, you don't wanna die young. And I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. I'ma gon' post bail, just look at my wrist. Tell me why the legends always gotta die quick. When I'm in traffic, gotta slide with the beam on me. Cause I keep out 10 rack bustin' out the jeans. That was damn bad, now I'm on a jet for real. Got all this ice on me, baby, told my protector chill. Mellow made it right. That was damn bad, now I'm on a jet for real. Got all this ice on me, baby, told my protector chill. Sippin' all this, my bad is don't. I want a couple million without a red deal. Got 25,000 on me when I been riding in the phantom. Got all this out on me, I'm so fly, don't matter. I wanted to feel the V12 when I was riding in Atlanta. Bitch, all day, I'm damn near high as my family. I got 3 with me, they want the baguettes on their neck. That was made inside the projects, I got on my set. I was really on the floor, then I woke up in the jet. Ain't never had a dog, no, I just might cop demon.
And I just took my DNA test.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Girl Power. And you're tuned into Mad 97.5 FM, where it's we own, where it's a totally Guyanese thing. And so today we have a really, really wonderful guest. Her name is Miss Roseanne Farley. And I'm so happy that Roseanne is in the studio with us today. We're going to be having a very, very interesting conversation today.
Just took my DNA test, done da da, 100% Nigerian. Baba, when you gonna learn? Can't frame a earner. Came with the noose, I freed myself like Nat Turner. Sucker free, purge myself from the parasites. Marcus Garvey likes on my Instagram, Garveyites. Rebel tone, born in the middle of the cyclone. Revelation talker, that's the beast.
Black
with the
leather glove, no sequin. Buckles on the jacket, it's elite. Nike crossbody, got a piece in it. Gotta dance, but it's really on some street. I'ma show you how to get it. It go right foot up, left foot slide, left foot up, right foot slide. Basically, I'm saying either way, we bout to slide. Hey, let this one slide. Hey. Don't you wanna dance with me? No, I could dance like Michael Jackson. I could get you the passion. It's a thriller in a track. Where we from?
So, Roseanne, how are you doing today?
Thanks for having me.
All right, so you're all pretty in pink today. right, so Roseanne is all pretty in pink, all right? Is pink your favorite color?
Not really.
Not really?
Today.
Well, I can tell you it is my favorite color, so I'm glad you wore pink today, all right? So, Roseanne, we're going to be talking about children with special needs today, and I understand that you have a very interesting story that you would like to share with us.
Yes. In 2010, my daughter was diagnosed with mild to moderate autism. And of course, it's something that no parent wants to hear or wants to deal with. So it was very difficult at that moment hearing that. Moreover, is that I didn't know where to look in order to get the services and the help that she needed. Nevertheless, as time went on, I was able to access help from the Step by Step Foundation. They have a school.
And where is that? Is that right here?
That is in Georgetown.
Okay.
Yes, they're in Hatfield Street. And ever since then, I've just been learning as much as I could, attending different trainings and workshops and working with parents who have children with autism. In 2015, I started Early Childhood Services. And Early Childhood Services was created because I saw the need. I kept meeting so many more parents who were just like me. Parents who didn't know what to do, where to turn. Exactly. So you've gotten this diagnosis now that your child has autism. Now what? Can the child go to a regular school? Does the child need an assistant, an aide to go to school with? Do we have those services available? Does the child need to go to a special school? Exactly where to go after you would have gotten the diagnosis. So that was primarily the reason why I started Early Childhood Services. I wanted to be able to help parents navigate after getting a diagnosis. And Early Childhood Services was set up to provide screening, diagnostic testing, intervention, and on our mandate too is to start a virtual parent support group. Actually, it did not start it off with us planning to have a virtual parent support group. I wanted to have a parent support group, but an in-person group, so that I would gather all the parents that I would have seen and others who were willing to participate to one location where we would be able to share and encourage each other and so on. But then COVID happened.
Well, of course.
Of course.
Yes.
So plans had to change, and therefore I thought to myself, every other company, every other business, every other institution is using the virtual platform. Why not use the virtual platform as well? So that is what I decided to do, that I would start a Zoom session with our parent support group. And this happens every other week. And it started off slow, and I could understand that because a lot of parents struggle with accepting that diagnosis.
So let's back up for a moment. Now, you might know, well, obviously, you know what autism is. I know what autism is. But for the listeners who might have heard the term, but they're not too clear on what autism is, could you explain that for them?
Sure. Autism is a developmental disorder that affects the way children socialize. It affects the way they communicate, either their ability to understand what is being said to them or their ability to express themselves in one way or another. It is also characterized by repetitive or restricted behaviors, right? Now, what all of this means is that a child may have difficulty picking up certain social skills. They may have difficulty maintaining a conversation on a particular topic, right? When it comes to their communication, we're looking at their receptive skills. Do they understand what is being said to them? A teacher said to a child one day, go to the cupboard and pick out a particular item. And the child hurried off. And we felt good, the child is able to follow instruction. But then the child just went to the cupboard and stood up. So he only understood the first part of the instruction.
Wow.
Right? So in terms of their processing information, it may happen slower than a typical child. All right? And then they also have restricted, repetitive behaviors. Sometimes children with autism may have certain fixations. They only want to play with blue cars. They're only interested in dinosaurs. They're only interested in numbers. and that sort of thing. And it carries over into their food. Sometimes it carries over into their communication as well, whereby they may repeat a certain phrase. They may listen to a conversation in the bus heading to school one morning and may overhear somebody talk about this conductor doesn't know what he's doing. And later on in the day, that child just randomly keeps repeating that.
Wow.
Right? So it's a very wide spectrum. The symptoms vary vastly. So much so that they say you'll never find two persons with autism who are exactly the same.
The same. Now, autism is just one of the classifications of special needs. So could you name some other classifications?
There are other developmental disorders and learning disabilities that children can suffer from, like dyslexia, which I think is common in our society, whereby children struggle when it comes to reading and writing. They may write letters and words back to front, and as such, they would have problems reading, remembering what they would have learned, even though it may have been reinforced time and time again.
Wow. Well, I'm glad that you would have explained dyslexia, because sometimes we might be getting upset with the children. Why are you writing these words back to front? Why is it that I'm trying to teach you this thing and you are taking so long to learn? Sometimes even teachers might become frustrated, but then we have to realize that this is an actual condition. And that's why knowledge is power.
That's right.
Because when we realize it's a condition, well, then we tend to be more patient with the child.
That's right.
And then we say, you know what, maybe we need to separate this child, not to make them feel discriminated, but so that they can actually get help and they can get the right kind of help. All right. So I'm so happy that you are explaining to us about the different classifications of special needs. Now, there's also Down syndrome. I noticed that there are quite a few children in our country with Down syndrome. Could you tell us about Down syndrome?
I won't get into too much of those other things because that's not particularly my field. I focus mainly on children who have autism.
Autism, okay.
Now, at some point, I want to incorporate these other disabilities and disorders and have persons who are qualified to come and share with parents as well. So on that particular issue, I would refrain from getting into that. The thing with autism is that sometimes it's so difficult for a parent. You see a child excelling in one area and struggling in another
area.
And sometimes struggling in a simpler area. For instance, a child may be very intellectual, but when it comes to making friends, maintaining friendships and so on, they struggle. Right? Maybe they have a problem when it comes to shared play. So if this is mine, in a normal setting, a child would share a toy. You throw the ball to me, I throw the ball to you. We understand that is what's happening in this interaction. But with a child with autism, this is my ball and I'm going to hold on to it, even though you may have had the ball and you willingly throw it to that child. They may just hold on to it. And that is the struggle when it comes to autism, because parents don't really know what is happening. How do you understand and excel here and you still struggle in this other area? And that is what we aim to do. The virtual parent support group is bringing professionals from all over the world to share with our parents.
Wonderful.
The virtual support group, it's part inspiration and part information. Because a lot of parents are frustrated, because a lot of parents often feel like giving up, because very often you could feel as though you're just hitting a brick wall. It's so important to hear stories that inspire you. And I think that my story is one that is very inspiring. When I first started this journey, I could not have imagined that I would have been where I am today, that my daughter would have excelled in the way she has today.
And she's really excelled. She actually wrote Common Entrance and received a place at one of the top schools in the country.
Yes.
So that means that you really came a very long way.
Yes, and it's not just her academics, but to see her blossom, and she has an interest in music.
And she's beautiful as well too.
Thank
She's
you.
so beautiful.
and she's creating music online, which is something I think requires so much amount of patience and so. But these kids have their own interests, and I want parents to understand that they should not isolate the children. I understand that it's difficult. I understand that society sometimes isn't very understanding and accepting of our children, right? But it's not right to isolate the children. You want to expose them to as many things as possible because you don't know what they can excel at. You don't know what activity they may get involved in that may actually help them, you know? And so our virtual support group, in addition to having all these professionals, I'm talking about occupational therapists and speech therapists and behavioral therapists, like I said, from all around the world, at different points would come and share with us, pediatricians as well, giving parents tips on how to deal with certain situations. We also have parents sharing their successes, and I think that's so important because it tells another parent, well, if you can do it, then I could do it.
I can do it too,
if
yes.
your situation was so bad and you held on, then I can do it too, because you know what? My child is not as bad. My child doesn't have all of these challenges. But even in saying that, there's a story that I know about this little girl. Her name is Carly. And Carly is severely autistic to the point where she has retardation. And she exhibited so many symptoms that were very disruptive and hurtful to the parent to see their child in that manner. And one day, however, over the years, Carly had several therapists working with her, and the progress was very, very slow. One day, they placed Carly in front of a computer, and to their surprise, Carly wrote H-U-R-T. And they were shocked because they did not teach Carly that particular word. You know, then she wrote H-E-L, and they had to probe her and prompt her a bit to complete what she was writing. She wrote help. She completed it and she wrote help. And the parents were fascinated. They never knew that she had the capacity to do this. But then again, this is the same parent who had other people saying to him, you should probably put her in a group home, because this was overseas, not here in Guyana. You should probably put her in a group home. But he said, no, that's my child. How do you give up on your child?
Yes.
And he kept working. Do you know that they began to use the computer for Carly to start requesting what she wants? So if she wants water, she wants to go outside, whatever she wants, she had to type it in order to get whatever it is that she needed. Do you know Carly has moved on from that to the point where she has written a novel?
Wow.
I am talking about somebody who is severely autistic, right? But it speaks to the power of the parent.
And not giving up.
Not giving up.
Wow.
That is the point. Do not give up on your children. Do not see it as the end. Oh, I had all these plans for my child and now these things are not going to happen. No, you can't see it that way. When my daughter was first diagnosed, we used to take the bus. And I would look and see other children interacting with their parents. Oh, mommy, look a cat, or oh, look that man over there. And my daughter said nothing. Because at that time, she wasn't communicating in that way, right? And I used to feel bad. You know, I wish we could talk. But I didn't give up. I kept working. Now that child talks too much. And that is the truth. And it's not her particular situation. It's not anything that is special to me because I am so great or any. But it comes, they say autism does not come with a manual, but it comes with a parent who does not give up.
Yes.
So our virtual...
And a parent who does not say hurtful words either.
Exactly.
Right? Because, you know, the words that we speak to children, they may not tell you how much it hurts them, but they internalize it. And even if, you know what, even if this child is classified as a special needs child, and we're saying hurtful words to them, you know, and we're saying, oh, you know, you're stupid, you're slow, you're retarded. Now, they would sense, even if they don't understand everything you're saying, they would sense that you're saying something hurtful, and you'd be wounding them. You would actually be, instead of making 4 steps forward in terms of their progress, you'll be making 4 steps backward. So we don't want to say anything hurtful to our children, all right? I mean, remember, these are our children. And if we truly love our children, we would be patient with them. And, it may not be our children. It may be a child that we're teaching. It might be a niece, a nephew. It requires patience. If we love, we're going to exhibit patience.
Yes, and sometimes it's difficult for parents, and I understand that. There were times when I was working with my daughter, and I had to excuse myself from her presence and just cry.
Wow.
Because it was difficult. But you have got to be mentally prepared for it. Don't just jump into it just like that. You've got to build some sort of mental toughness to be able to deal with it, because you may be explaining the most simple thing to this child day in, day out, and they're not getting it. But I say to parents, don't give up. There's this little boy, you're talking about how parents speak to their children. There's this little boy I heard of who wasn't saying anything. He was nonverbal. And some of the children on the spectrum they will never speak. But this little boy, at that point, he was nonverbal. But they kept working with him. And one day, everything just came out, including the curse words that he would hear. So you really don't want to be saying anything negative to your child. You need to always be positive, even in the midst of a negative situation. And just never give up. Just don't ever give up on your child.
Never give up.
That's right.
Yes.
And the other thing we want to do is that at the end of every session is to showcase a child's talent. A child who is on the autism spectrum. And for me, this is so important because very often people see autism as defining who you are. Oh, she is autistic. And it's not something that ought to define you. It's a description of the condition that you have. And that's all it is.
Exactly.
You're so much more than autism. I have a child who sings, who dances, who's into creating these tracks, and now is writing musicals and so on. All these different, so she's more than just autism. That doesn't define who she is.
That's a condition. It doesn't define her future.
That's right.
It doesn't define anything else.
That's right.
It's just a condition.
That's right. Many of us would have...
Similarly, if you have asthma, if a child has asthma, so is it everything about that child is asthmatic and okay, they wouldn't be able to do this and do that? No, that's just a condition.
That's right. That's right.
And so just like how that's a health condition, this is a developmental condition. But as long as it's treated and we don't give up, we will have the success stories.
And that's what's important, is that the child isn't going to progress like a typical child, a normal child. But we celebrate progress, no matter how small it is.
Yes.
Whereas a typical parent with a typical child might be celebrating, my child won this championship or so on. We're celebrating the fact that after 5 years of just eating plain bread, that this child is now eating bread and peanut butter. That's a big celebration.
Yes.
And that's the thing. When we form a community of persons who understand exactly what we're going through, what each other is going through, we're able to celebrate the little things. Because if I go into a group of people who have typical children and I'm like, oh, my daughter ate pizza for the first time, it may not mean too much to them. But parents who know the struggles that we go through with our picky eaters and so on, well, it's a big deal. We can celebrate each other. We can applaud each other and encourage each other. And I think that is so very important, because very often it's a lonely road. It's a very lonely road, because who are you going to reach out to? Who is really going to understand? Who is going to put up with your child and all of these behaviors? I have made myself available to parents when they want to talk, when they're just frustrated. I've got parents calling me sometimes in the night, Roseanne, I don't know what to do with this boy. I mean, is it that I'm doing it wrong? And I have to say to them, no, you just stick with it. Just stick with it. It may not happen today, it may not happen tomorrow, but it's going to
It
happen.
will happen,
It is
yes.
gonna
Oh my
happen.
gosh, Roseanne, you're just beaming with positivity, girl. Roseanne, so persons who want to join the group, they might have a child diagnosed with autism, and they want to join the support group. How can they make contact with you?
Okay, what I would encourage parents to do is to follow and like our Facebook page, because there is where we would post the Zoom link.
Wonderful.
So you need to go to Facebook, look for Early Childhood Services.
Early Childhood Services on
Yes.
Facebook.
And they should like and follow the page, and we will post the link, the Zoom link there. But in addition to that, they will also find a whole bunch of other information on there. We are also forming a private group where parents can share. You type whatever information, whatever questions that you may have, right? And we can encourage each other in that private setting, and also encourage our professionals to pop in every now and then to answer some of these questions.
Wonderful. So the big question, is there a fee attached?
There is no fee attached.
All right. So could you say that again?
There is no fee
Wow.
attached.
Wonderful.
And I think it will
Absolutely
also,
wonderful.
yes, I think it will also be beneficial to parents who are skeptics. Very often, the first point of contact when it comes to autism is a pediatrician. You take your child to the pediatrician, and the pediatrician would start asking certain questions about the child's development. And after realizing that that child is not developing typically, they may refer the child to get a hearing test and so on. And parents may be a bit, well, not a bit, they're in denial, plain and straight. They're in denial about it. But the thing with autism is that early intervention is so crucial.
Critical.
Yes. And if you start early, it's like we say, it's hard to bend an old tree.
Mm-hmm.
You want to bend it when it was young. You want to catch this when it's in its early stages. And for parents who are skeptical, parents who are kind of on the fence, because we hear a lot, I heard it, don't let people tell you anything about your child. They always looking to label the child. The father take long to talk, the mother take long to talk, just give him time. But if your child is complaining about a tummy ache, what do? Turn a blind eye to it? No, we want to investigate. Where is
Exactly.
the pain? How long have you had this pain? And we would ask other questions, so we delve into it, and then we take the child to the doctor. Don't wait until that child is 7, 8 years old when you start seeing signs. When the child is 16, 18 months old. Let's deal with it as it comes. Even if you don't want to give it a label, we know that something is wrong. This child isn't talking. Let's be in an environment, create the right sort of support systems to help that child to get to where he or she needs to be.
Definitely. So therapy and support is extremely important when dealing with autism. And you know what? Parents should not feel ashamed. Sometimes shame is what is holding us back from seeking assistance. We're saying, oh my goodness, everybody's going to look at me and they're going to say how my child is like this and how my child is like that. Let me tell you, for every child is special. There's a purpose on this earth here for every single child. So your child may not be developing in the way that other children are developing, but with care, with therapy, with support, with love, that child will be able to develop, because your story is such a beautiful story, Roseanne. And I mean, you told it with such grace. The fact that you had these challenges, that your child was diagnosed. And now your child, I see her, you post a lot of pictures with her on Facebook and Instagram, and she's such a beautiful child. She looks so positive. And then to know that this child would have written common entrance, and this child was placed in the top school, among the top schools in our country. I think that this is a huge accomplishment. But of course, it came with hard work. Patience, the fact that you did not give up on your child. All right. So I would really like to applaud you, and I would like to applaud all of the parents and the professionals who are lending support in the group. I think that, if we want to go very far, we need to connect with others.
That's right.
If we truly want to make progress, connect with others. Become a part of a village. Become a part of a community. In the days when Roseanne and I grew up, it's like a whole village raised you, right? You had your you had your Sunday school teacher from church, you had your mom, your grandma, your grandfather, father, everybody, aunts, uncles, and it was like a whole community, your teachers, everybody just seemed so interested in in our development. And so that's why we would have turned out the way we turned out today. And so similarly, we should not let that village tradition die. All right? Become a part of a village. You might say, you know what? Nobody's supporting me. My family's not supporting me. Well, guess what? You know what? You come out. You reach out to Roseanne and you make yourself a part of that village. All right? And you will receive the support that you need. Because as you said, for parents, it's not easy. And, some parents might be saying, I wish my child was like this. I wish my child was like that. But let me tell you, even if a child is not diagnosed with autism, all right, there's so much work that goes into raising a child generally. You literally have to sit with them. You have to ensure that they can read properly. You have to ensure that they're pronouncing those words properly. There is so much work that goes into raising a child. I don't think that anybody who's raising a child, whether they're diagnosed with autism or not, has a necessarily easy job. All right? There's so much quality parenting that you have to put into these children.
That's right.
And so even if your child was not diagnosed with autism, I don't know that your work necessarily would have been any easier. All right? And so if it happened, say, you know what, listen, it happened. We accept that this is what it is, but we don't have to accept that her future or his future will be negatively affected by this. We're going to work with our child. We're going to exercise the patience that is needed, and we're not going to be ashamed. We're not going to let shame keep us from reaching out to other people and reaching out to get help. Don't let shame stop you, all right? So just know that your child is special and your child will accomplish great things in life. But of course, you have to reach out to people. So Roseanne, please tell our listeners again how they can reach out to you.
Okay, our next virtual parent support group is on this Sunday at 3 o'clock. And our main speakers are Miss Onesta Wedenig, and she's all the way from Austria.
Nice.
And she is a parent who has a child on the spectrum, and she has had 7 years experience of working with children with special needs and their therapists and so on. So I think she's a very good resource person. And from Kenya, we have a behavioral therapist in Mr. Lexi. So you don't want to miss this session, and we'll be discussing problematic behaviors. Right? Very often children on the spectrum may have problematic behaviors because of their inability to cope with certain stimulus. For instance, the lighting might be too bright, or the walls might be too colorful, whatever it is. But whatever problematic behaviors there are, we'll be covering this on Sunday. We start promptly at 3 o'clock. It only goes for 45 minutes, noting that parents with children on the spectrum are very busy.
Yes.
And their children are very demanding. We don't want to make the session too long. So it's important that parents set their alarm and their clock and so on to be there promptly at 3. And if you know a parent who has a child with some problematic behavior, maybe the child wasn't diagnosed with autism, right? But there's some problematic behavior. It would be good for that person to
they have some other kind of special needs.
Yes. It would be good for them to join us too. And just like and follow the page. There's so much information that we'll be sharing on there. And not just like and follow, but also share the information.
Share with others,
one of the key things that we need to do in Guyana is better awareness. We need to better our system of autism awareness. There is still not enough information out there, and that's why people fear. They fear what they don't know. They hear autism and they immediately hear mental retardation, right? And that is not necessarily the case. Some of these children have
extremely
great intellectual skills, right?
Wow.
So it's important that you get the information. And that's why our virtual support group focuses both on information and inspiration. And then at the end of it, we highlight a child and one of their special talents. And I'm going to tell you that these talents vary widely, from singers to musicians to one child speaks several languages. You know, so it's so important for us to be part of that community. And even if you are not a special needs parent, even if you do not have a child with autism, like and follow the page and spread the information. Help me, help us spread awareness about autism. It is going to help.
Wonderful. And I'm very happy that you said that later on that you will consider bringing in other specialists to deal with various areas of special needs. So I think you're really onto something big here, Roseanne. I'm so happy that you came, and I am going to share your information. I'm going to make sure that I post it on my Facebook page, because you never know which parent might be having this challenge, but they just haven't said anything. So I'm going to put it out there to ensure that that information spreads and that people can get the help that they need, because all of us need support in some way or the other. All right, so say the name of the page for us again, please.
It's Early Childhood Services.
Early Childhood Services. All right, wonderful. And do you have a number that persons can contact you on?
Yes, persons can reach me on 622-4201.
Okay, kindly repeat that.
622-4201.
All right, and just remember, her name is Roseanne Farley, all right? And she's a very nice person, I can tell you that. I've known her for a very long time. She's a very kind and very nice person. And so you don't have to be afraid, that if I call, I wonder, how she's going to receive me. She will receive you very graciously. All right, so Roseanne, thank you so much for stopping by Girl Power. And thank you for all that you're doing. Thank you, all right?
Thank you for having me.
Fulfilling. I'm done crying myself away. I gotta leave and start the healing. But when you move like that, I just wanna stay. What have I become? Looking through your phone now, oh now, love to you is just a game. Look what I have done, dialing up the numbers on you. I don't want my heart to break, baby. How do you sleep when you lie to me? All that shame and all that danger. I'm hoping that my love will keep you up tonight, baby. I'm done hating myself for feeling. I'm done crying myself away. I gotta leave and start the healing. But when you move like that, I just wanna stay. What have I become? Looking through your phone, love to you is just a game. Look what I have done, tallying up the numbers. Oh yeah, I don't want my heart to break, baby. How do you sleep when you lie to me? All that shame and all that danger. I'm hoping that my love will keep you up tonight, baby.
Feelings so deep in my feelings. No, this ain't really like me. Can't control my anxiety. Feeling like I'm touching the ceiling. Beady-da-do, boot up. My heart goes ba-do, boot up. Beady-da-do, it just won't stop. It go ba-do, boot up. Beady-da-do, boot up. My heart goes ba-do, boot up. Beady-da-do, it just won't stop. It go. How many ways can I say that I need you, baby? It's true. I think I might die with that.
All right, so we just want to thank Miss Roseanne Farley for all that she shared with us today. I really think that I'm richer in terms of knowledge. All right, so remember, if you have a child with autism, reach out to Miss Roseanne Farley. All right, and she will give you all of the support through her support group that you need. She's on Facebook. You can message her. You can add her to Facebook, message her, and also you can go like and follow her page. All right. So thank you so much. I just want to remind our parents today that every child is here for a specific purpose. Some of them are here to teach us about love, about patience. Some of them are here to teach us things about ourselves that, we didn't even know that we needed to change, all right? So let's be very positive. Regardless of whatever challenge we're going through with our children, let's be positive.
Safety, so I don't go shooting where your heartbeat. Cause you take a bullet trying to save me, then I'm left to deal with making you bleed. There's a whole lot of love, ain't trying to waste it. Like we be running them out and never make it. It's just too bitter for what I don't wanna taste it. It's just too bitter for what I don't wanna face it. But I think that I'm done tripping, I'm tripping, I've been sipping, that's how I control this feeling you keep giving. Keep on hitting it, ooh, oh. Maybe it's your love, it's too good to be true. Baby boy, your love got me tripping on you. You know your love is big enough, make me trip on you. Yeah, it's big enough, got me tripping on you. Tripping on you. My bad for tripping on you. Tripping on you. My bad,
Don't take no offense, but you my
tripping on you.
Yeah. You gon' fall through every time I call you. That's why I ball how I ball when I spoil you. You was in my Sad to say it, but I love you. Don't take no offense, but you my yeah. You gon' fall through every time I call you. That's why I ball how I ball when I spoil you. We was in Miami, first time I saw you. I was in a phantom when I put up on you. It was late nights in the bando. You good, got you bustin' like you Rambo. And you keep it hood, so you really understand, oh. You was there through my ups and downs like a camel. Tough fact, said she get it from her mama. She just want the money, shit with no bloggers. You want a PJ the whole way to the Bahamas. Gucci Valentino, baby, I could be your stylist. Your friend, yeah, you was wildin'. 1942 shots, turn you to a monster. Thuggin' like you Tupac, you know that I got you. Love the way you ride, move on hit like you Rihanna. I was supposed to hit, I was never supposed to cuff you. Put you on my homie, cause he said he wanna. When he asked me about you, I just told him that I want you. But now it's quiet for you, cause I told him that I love you.
I still see your shadows in my room. Can't take back the love that I gave you. I still see your shadows in my room. Can't take back the love that I gave you. It's to the point where I love and I hate you, and I cannot change you, so I must replace.
All right, remember you're tuned into Girl Power on Mad 97.5 FM, where it's real, where it's a totally Guyanese thing. And we focus on empowering women to win in every area of their lives, all right? We focus on empowering them to win in business, in family, in relationships, in parenting, in every single area. You can go like and follow our Girl Power page on Facebook. You can connect with us through that page. You can also share your inspirational stories. Share them. I want to hear them. I might even say, you know what, come on air. You know, let's let other people hear your story as well. Your story might inspire somebody.
Don't hit me when you hear this and tell me your favorite song. Don't tell me how you knew it would be like this all along. I know the truth is you won't. Don't link me. Don't hit me when you hear this and tell me your favorite song. Don't tell me how you knew it would be like this all along. I know the truth is you won't love me till I'm gone. And even anything that comes after is moving on. I can't even capture the feeling I had at first.
Miss Carmen Fanfare, she is all the way in, I think she's in Antigua, and she's wishing her daughter Eslyn a happy, happy birthday. So Eslyn, happy birthday from your mom, Carmen Fanfare.
Yeah.
Special good morning to Justice Zamunda, all the way from the quarantine. All right, so good to hear from you today. Good morning to all the folks up on the quarantine in Berbice, in every part of Berbice. If you're locked into 97.5 FM, special good morning to you.
Don't hit me when you hear this and tell me your favorite song. Don't tell me how you knew it would be like this all along. I know the truth is you won't love me until I'm gone. And even anything that comes after is...
Good morning to all of the folks who are joining us on Facebook.
Meeting all my heroes like seeing how magic works. The people I looked up to are going from bad to worse. Their actions out of character even when they rehearse. Working in the land of the free, the home of the brave.
Remember, you can listen to us on your radio, and you can also turn on your phone or your computer or your tablet, and you can also see us from the Mad 97.5 Facebook page.
The other team, iconic duos, rip and split at the seams. The hearted people are into extremes. Leaving me in limbo to what I believe. Leaving me to ask what their motive in making peace. Leaving me to not trust anybody I meet. Leaving me to ask if they, Styling no. Listen, but got pictures with me smiling no. All the things you... Yeah.
So we're getting ready to hear the news. Remember, we must know what's going on in and around Guyana. We must also be conscious of what's happening around the world. So our lovely news presenter, Veronica, she's going to come and read the news. And then we'll prepare for the second installment of Girl Power. And trust me, you don't want to miss the second installment, okay? We're going to have lots of fun, all right? We're going to be discussing a very important topic. And I would really like to get your feedback, especially on Facebook.
Yeah. Styling over. December got pictures with me smiling over. All the things you need, you still want problems though. All the things I know, I still been silent though. Yeah. Used to be at Silver City Indigo. Used to be in lunch playing dominoes. I don't wanna have to go to funerals. I gotta start sleeping at the studio. I don't have no time to be no Romeo. All the love I need is at the rodeo. All the love I need is here at OVO. Yeah. All the girls I know are there with Ian Throw. Who knows where I end up when that gets old? Maybe it never gets old and that's just how it goes. Last table left in Carbone, calling plays on a rotary phone. I take a glass of Dominada to go with me home. Might move our ankle to the dome. I need 40,000 people to see what I'm on. Yeah. Ducked a lot of spiteful moves. I was an angry youth while I was writing views. Saw a side of myself that I just never knew. I probably self-destruct if I ever lose, but I never. Kiki, do you love me? Are you riding? Say you never ever leave from beside me. Cause I want you, and I need you, and I'm down for you always, KB. Do you love me? Are you riding? Say you never ever leave from beside me. Cause I want you, and I need you, and I'm down for you always. Look, the new me is really still the real me. I swear you gotta feel me before they try and kill me. They gotta make some choices, they running out of options. Cause I've been going off and they don't know when to stop. And when you get the I see that you've been learning. And when I take you shopping, you spend it like you earned it. And when you popped off on your ex, he deserved it. I thought you would've won from the jump, that confirmed it. Trap money, Benny. I buy you champagne, but you love some Henny. From the block like you Jenny. I know you special, girl, cause I know too many. Keisha, do you love me? Are you riding? Say you never ever leave beside me. Cause I want you, and I need you. Everybody get your roll on. I know shorty and she doesn't want no slow song. Had a man last year, life goes on. Haven't let the thing loose, girl, in so long. You been inside, know you like to lay low. I've been peeping what you bringing to the table. Working hard, girl, everything paid for. First, last, for bill, car, no kickbo. With your phone out, gotta hit them angles. With your phone out, snapping like you Fable. And you showing off, but it's alright. And you showing off, but it's alright. It's a short life, yeah.
Look at that girl in the sundress. How we can look between. Look at that girl in the sundress. Come on, walk with me. Look at that girl in the sundress. Oh, she's all alone. Look at that girl in the sundress. I want her to come on home. Thin material, slightly cover that wagon. Your heart is humble, but your body is bragging. If I was smooth as you thought, I would've buttered you up with my charm. But I'm so crude since I lost my cool. I ain't want to cause emotional harm.
Baby girl used to ride on the metro. Had a dream of diamonds and stilettos. First class in Miami from the West Coast. Never wanted to be homecoming queen. Not just another girl in the strip club. Working hard, now the dollar's gonna miss her. Big bags, I'm gonna tip her. Making sure she's gonna come with me. One money, two honey. How much can I throw? And for her, I can't say no. Oh, I won't let go. I fell in love with a dancer. Going all this cake, ooh, it's your birthday, girl. I like that, girl. I'm in love with a dancer. In the champagne room until the sun comes up. Oh my God. I'm in love with her. It's 3 a.m. and we only getting started. In the cab on the way to your apartment.
Mad 97, broadcasting live from Georgetown, Guyana in the highest quality. Providing our listeners with the latest in world and Caribbean music, local culture, news, and top personalities. Mad 97 is We Own. We Own.
In Guyana and right across the Eastern Caribbean, the time is now 12 hours 1. This is the midday news break on Mad 97.5 FM. In the headlines, 11-year-old dies from COVID-19. Health Ministry announces reclassification of death. Exxon to abandon Kaichor Block well. GTU calls for immediate closure of all schools with dorms. And U.S. firm proposes to convert plastics to fuel. Thank you for joining us. I am Veronica with this, The Village Voice news break for today, Wednesday, November 18th, 2020. And now for the news in detail. 11-year-old dies from COVID-19. Health Ministry announces reclassification of death. In keeping with guidelines from the World Health Organization, WHO, the death of the 11-year-old child whose admittance to the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, GPHC, was due to complications with cancer and who eventually tested positive for the novel coronavirus COVID-19 will be reclassified as a COVID-19 related death. The child, who lived in Region 4, Demerara, Mahaica, was admitted on November 4 of 2020 and died on November 6, 2020 due to leukemia, a cancer of the blood. The section of the WHO guidelines relating to the classification of deaths states that, open quote, a death due to COVID-19 is defined for surveillance purposes as a death resulting from a clinically compatible illness in a probable or confirmed COVID-19 case, unless there is a clear alternative cause of death that cannot be related to COVID-19, for example, trauma, end quote. Before death, the patient was tested for COVID-19 and the results turned out to be positive, but the child displayed no symptoms of the disease. According to the World Health Organization's guidelines, since her death was not caused by COVID-19, but she was COVID-19 positive at the time of her death, it is to be recorded as a COVID-19 related death. Exxon to abandon Kaichor Block well. The deepest well drilled in the Guyana-Suriname Basin to date, the Tanager 1 well, drilled by ExxonMobil in Guyana's Kaichor Block, has turned out to be a non-commercial discovery. The well, which reached a total depth of 7,633 meters in recent days, cost the company billions of dollars. Evaluation of the find showed only 16 meters of net oil pay in high-quality sandstone reservoirs with heavier oil and that of the Liza Phase 1 producing field crude assay. It is anticipated that the well will now be plugged and abandoned in the coming days. On Tuesday afternoon, confirming the reports, Public and Government Affairs Advisor at SO Exploration and Production Guyana Limited, EEPGL, Janelle Prasad, told reporters that the well encountered hydrocarbons, but based on initial analysis, it does not appear to be economic on a standalone basis. The Stena Carron was involved in the drilling of Exxon's first well in the block commencing in August of 2020. The well is located 46 miles northwest of the fruitful Liza well. At the Kaichor block, ExxonMobil holds 35% of the rights and is the operator of the block. Ratio Guyana holds 25% of the petroleum rights in the block. Catalia holds 25% and Hess holds 15%. The Kaichor block covers an area of approximately 13,500 square kilometers at water depths ranging between 2,800 and 3,800 meters. The Kaichor and Kanji blocks are adjacent to the Stabroek block, which has delivered 18 substantial oil discoveries since 2015. GTU calls for immediate closure of all schools with dorms. The Guyana Teachers Union, GTU, has called on the Ministry of Education to close all schools with dorms with immediate effect, given the rising number of coronavirus disease cases among teachers and students. Against the advice of the GTU, the Education Ministry on November 9 of 2020 reopened schools across the country for students in grades 10, 11 and 12, as well as for those attending practical instruction centres and technical and vocational education training or TVET centres. However, since then, more than 24 cases have been recorded within the school population. Open quote, in light of the positive coronavirus test results emerging from the schools where students are kept in dorms, the Guyana Teachers Union calls on the Ministry of Education to close all schools with dorms, end quote, the GTU president Mark Light said in a statement on Tuesday. According to him, while the ministry offered the union its assurance on October 5th of 2020 that all students would be tested before entering dorms, it has failed to make good on this commitment. According to Light, the failure on the part of the Education Ministry to test students before entering the dorms at President's College and Baratika in particular have placed every student, teacher and their families at risk of becoming infected with coronavirus. In an effort to suppress the spread of the deadly virus and safeguard the health of students and teachers, the union's president has tabled a total of 7 recommendations to the Ministry of Education. It is urging that all dorm schools be closed with immediate effect to facilitate testing of all students, and that all students and staff be quarantined until further results are known. Further, it is recommending that all classes be done virtually for the next 2 weeks to allow for schools to be thoroughly sanitized. Open quote, students who tested positive should be immediately removed from the school's premises and placed at a holding center, end quote, the union recommended, while adding that all family members of students and staff should also be tested. Further, it underscored the need for careful monitoring to be done at all schools, particularly those located within COVID-19 hotspots. And finally, U.S. firm proposes to convert plastics to fuel. U.S. company Green Link Renewable Energy has signaled its intention to convert plastic waste in Guyana into fuel. This development follows a recent meeting between representatives of the company and the Minister of Public Works, Bishop Juan Edgehill. In a press release, the ministry praised the initiative as a major job provider that could accelerate the government's efforts to transform the nation into a renewable energy state. It added that Minister Edgehill was pleased to hear that not only will plastics be less of a pollutant through this initiative, but it will also provide jobs for thousands of locals. The team is expected to meet with local authorities during this week and draft and submit an official business proposal for consideration, the statement continued. Minister Edgehill directed Green Link Renewable Energy to the Guyana Office for Investment, or Go Invest, Ministry of Local Government, and the Director of Solid Waste Management to continue the discussions. Green Link Renewable Energy was created in 2014 as a renewable energy development and finance firm. It focuses on waste to energy, plastic to fuels, opportunities, and securing capital for projects. And this has brought us to the end of Village Voice Newsbreak for today, Wednesday, November 18th, 2020. For these stories and more, visit our website at www.villagevoicegy.com. Follow us on Facebook at Village Voice Guyana and Instagram and Twitter at Village Voice GY. Join us again this evening at 19 hours for another edition of the news.
Yo, watch this. Now the youth to the poor me I represent for Mad 97.5 FM.
Hey, remember couldn't get a 20 from my mom. Now I drive 20 on the left cause I'm on. I feel the love when I'm riding through the city, but I see him looking at me, pray the bullets don't hit me from the side. Yeah, but legends never die, you know. Yeah, good weed in my lungs, you know where I'm at. Straight from the slums, and I can't go back, no, I won't go back. No, I keep on the road for my dead homies. Okay, now I'm tired, stop on rapid fire. Go on a better down rapid fire. Open for a better down rapid fire. Bria, ba. Okay, now I'm tired, stop on rapid fire. Go on a better down rapid fire.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the second half of Girl Power. Now we're gonna be talking about a very, very interesting topic today. We're gonna be talking about love.
Big ways, 5 days, 10 days. I don't dare wait for you, my charge. For you, my charge. You want the phone? No case. I no go talk. Scarface for you, my charge. For you, my charge. Take me everywhere you want to go. Oh, tell me everything I want to know. No lies. No lie.
All right, so how many times have you heard these 3 words? I love you. All right, so there's some people who say I love you, every time they come off the phone with their loved ones, they say I love you, mom, I love you, dad. You might be saying I love you to my child, or I love you, my baby, if you're talking to your significant other, right? But what really is love? Because, sometimes some persons find themselves in a situation that's very uncomfortable. It might be very abusive, but yet still the person is saying, I love you. And that's why they keep going back, because they just keep hearing, I love you. And so they run right back. So what is love? Because sometimes, sometimes while we were growing up, we really never truly experienced love. So when we hear the words love, we associate it with all kinds of things, and then we accept all kinds of strange things to be loved. So we're going to really examine what love is today. And some people say, you know what, love cannot be explained. Oh, yes, it can. I'm here to explain it to you today.
10 days, I don't dare wait for you, my charge. For you, my charge. You want the phone? No case. I no go talk. Can't pay for you, my charge.
I remember one of my professors at the University of Guyana, he said love is the feeling that when you feel it, you never had that feeling before. Well, I really don't know what he's talking about, but I just found it funny. All right, so first of all, love is not a feeling, okay? Because there are times when I feel like eating lots of chicken, okay? I feel like eating lots of chicken legs, chicken breasts, chicken wings, all kinds of stuff, right? So sometimes I just want to bake a whole chicken, or I might want to bake leg quarters, or just chicken breasts alone, or I might want to fry some wings. Sometimes I'm just in a mood for chicken. But then some other times, I don't want anything to do with chicken. Sometimes I don't even want it to buy it. I don't even want it in my freezer. I'm like, you know what? I am just going to be using fish for this week, okay? Or, I'm going to use some beef or something else, or some shrimp or something else, but definitely not chicken. I don't want anything to do with that. And then another week, I'm like, oh my gosh, chicken is the best thing. Let me get some barbecue chicken in here, So definitely, love is not a feeling, all right? Because guess what? One time, we might be in the mood for someone, and then the next week we don't want to see this person. So that is not love. Love is not a feeling. Love is not like when I feel like making chicken, and then another time I don't want to eat chicken. I don't want to have nothing to do with chicken. Okay, love is not a feeling. Feelings, they come, and feelings, they go. Sometimes we feel like coming to work. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we just want to lay in bed all day and do absolutely nothing. But guess what? We have to get up because we have work to go to, and we also have kids, and we also have husbands, we have families, and so on. So definitely, love is not a feeling. Love is an action. As a matter of fact, if we allow feelings to control our decisions, well, guess what? We're going to just be, one day we're up, tomorrow we're down. And, we would make a lot of bad decisions too if we allow feelings to control us. So I can definitely tell you, love is not a feeling. Love is a series of consistent actions.
Family, yeah. Sexy in front of me. Must admit that I like what I see. The way you dance, when you whine, I just wanna come up from behind. And hold your body nice and close. And make sure everybody knows. Don't waste your time because she belongs to me. I said tonight I'm not drinking, but watching you girls got me thinking. And all of my friends, they are wasted. Can't even lie, I'm drunk off you, girl. You ain't got me tipsy. When you turn on your dip, yeah. You ain't got me tipsy. The way you move your hips, yeah. You ain't got me tipsy. When you turn on your twist, yeah. You ain't got me tipsy. The way you look at those lips, yeah.
When the lights go down, everyone.
All right, so we're talking about love. What is love? Now, let me tell you something. If somebody tells you that they love you and they're not being kind to you, well, then that is not love. Love is kind. Love is reflected in the way people treat you. So if you're not treating me nice, if you don't care about me, if you don't show me that you care about me, well, then that is not love, all right? So if you say you love me, you have to be kind to me. You have to treat me like you love me. You have to be caring towards me, all right? If I tell you that I'm sick and you just pretend like, you know what, you don't have time with that, well, then that is not love, because love is caring and love is kind.
Bubble your free bubble to the sound. When the lights go down, oh your bumper so rock. Oh your bumper so rock. When the lights go down, time for you come put it down. When the lights go down, 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 down.
I know you don't want to come off like that easy.
No.
Just let it go.
Yeah.
Go with the flow. You know? Boom. When the lights go down, and the strong rum soaking up. This on no Facebook, y'all. It's time for the poker up. Tell your girlfriends I'm coming. Make a little room for the bad man. Tonight is pure rubber I'm going like Charles.
Would you just let me be myself?
Love celebrates their partner, all right? Love celebrates their friend. Love celebrates, whenever something good happens for the other person. Love is not jealous. Love is like, you know what? Oh, Melissa, oh, you got a new job, Melissa. I'm so happy for you. Not, oh, she got a good job. I wish it was me. No, that's not love. That's jealousy. And jealousy has no part in love. Love celebrates.
Would you just let me be myself? Yeah, I'm lost, but I don't need your help. No, see, I don't wanna live like this. At least not forever. And I don't wanna live like this. If for tomorrow, believe me now. I'm leaving now. I'm reaching out. All I need is love from there. Searching for the best of me. I'm running, leaving all that's left of me. Just so you got away. Just so you got away. Just so you got away.
Love is patient. Yes, I said it. Love is patient. If somebody's not patient with you, well, then they don't love you. All right? So, if we are truly looking to see if somebody loves us, let us see how patient they are with us.
I don't wanna dream of this, at least not forever. And I don't wanna live like this. If I were tomorrow, yeah, do it like my people did. My people suffer. Them they pray for blessing. Yeah, do it like my people did. Them they pray for blessing. For better living. Are you feeling good tonight? This thing got me thanking God for life. I can't.
All right, so let me tell you from experience, the number one thing that destroys most marriages and relationships, guess what? It's not necessarily infidelity. You might be saying, oh, it's infidelity, but not necessarily. It's selfishness. selfishness. Now, there's no place for love in selfishness, okay? Love is selfless. Love thinks about the other person. Love considers the other person. Love doesn't say, you know what, there's one banana here, only, and I'm just going to eat all for myself. I'm just not going to think about anybody else. No way. Love is selfless. Love shares. Love gives. Love is not selfish.
Oh, my people dead, yeah. My people suffer. Them they pray for blessing. Hey, me do well like that. Oh, my people dead, yeah. Them they pray for blessing. For better living. Are you feeling good tonight? This thing got me thanking God for life. I can't explain.
Are you feeling good tonight? This thing got me thanking God for life. I just can't explain. I can't explain, no.
Yeah. Look, it's gonna be a long, long time before we stop. Boy, better know they better.
You want something to smile about? Smile about life. Think of every tribulation that you get through. Take a wine on the side now. Enjoy the vibes. Soak up every little moment. Cause when you think about it, you don't know the next man's story. Sometimes we try so hard to fet away we worries, just to clear your mind inside out.
Love is not conceited or arrogant. Love is not like, you know what, hey, everything revolves around me. It's all about me. No, love considers the other person. And love is definitely not arrogant. Love doesn't speak to people anyhow. You know, like, okay, you call them, oh, hi, honey. Yes. Okay, could you do this for me? Yes. What's your problem? Look, I'm busy. I can't talk to you right now. No, that's not love. Love speaks to people in such a nice way. Love is not arrogant at all. It's not rude. There's no rudeness in love.
You want something to smile about? Smile about life. Think of every tribulation that you get through. Take a wine on the side now. Enjoy the vibes. Soak up every little moment. Cause when you think about it, you don't know the next man's story. Sometimes we try so hard to fet away we worries, just to clear your mind inside of every line. That's how the thing designed. For how long now? There's a place where everybody goes. In a event where all the friends them close.
Love reflects in the little things that we do, all right? You know, when you take that time and you wish your significant other, when you wish them, a good day, honey, I hope you have a really blessed day. All that is love. You know, it's the little things that matter.
Forget it all in here. I could forget it.
The little things make a big difference.
Forget it all in here. Won't think about it. It might.
Love is when you send that text, you know what, honey, I really hope that, your day is blessed. I really hope that everything is just going very nice for you today.
Off of your mind now. Must be a sign. Hold your head up as you're going. Cause when you think about it, you don't know the next man's story. Sometimes we try so hard to take away the worries, just to clear your mind inside of every line. That's how the thing.
Did you know that love is forgiving? You can't say that you love me if you don't forgive me. Now, I know some persons would have gone through some very traumatic situations, especially situations of abuse and trauma and so forth. And of course, I would not expect you to stay in a situation like that. But there are other situations that might have happened in a relationship, and yes, we can forgive and we can stay because it may not have been that bad. All right, but you don't have to keep reminding the person over and over again. Well, you know what? 2 years ago you did this, or 5 years ago you did that. That is not love. Love is forgiving. And you know what? If we know that we're going to have to keep reminding the person every couple minutes about what they did 5 years ago, it makes no sense staying in the relationship. That's just my opinion. It is the most impossible thing if you're trying to practice love and you don't forgive. I'm telling you, it will hold you in a prison, and guess what? It will also drive others away from you.
It's about to go down. Start the fun, bounce around. Girl, just roll up your bum, 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 bum. Yeah, yeah. It's a real kind of jam. It's a real kind of jam. Yeah. I mean, we no deal with the boring. I mean, no bootleg thing, my girl. It's a real kind of jam. No, I mean, kind of jam. So how we go do, yeah. Stick on like glue.
My friend is asking through the Facebook page, can there be love at first sight? Now, remember, I'm only giving you my opinions, all right? You know, other people will have their opinions. Now, I think that love grows. Love grows like a tree. Remember when you plant a seed, you know, you have to water it. You have to put time and effort, you know, into grooming that tree. You have to make sure that tree gets fertilizer from time to time. You know how you farmers do it, right? I may have said some of the processes incorrectly, but love takes time. Love grows.
You don't need no phone now. You don't need no phone now. Hey, no, I may not be right.
You might see somebody, you know, and the person looks drop dead gorgeous. You know, it could be a man, it could be a woman, and you might say, oh my God, I'm in love. But then when you get to know that person, then you're like, oh my goodness, you know, your outside really doesn't match your inside. You know, you're like a pretty face with a bad character.
A real good. Yeah, 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 yeah. I looking good, I feeling good, a real good, a real good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Personally, don't take it too personally. They used to laugh at me personally. Now look at me, look at me, look at me. Them couldn't see my struggle. Them couldn't feel my pain. Them wasn't there when my heart did fight.
All right, love takes care of their responsibilities. You can't say that you love me and then, you know what, if you're supposed to bring half of the rent every month, you're taking your half of the rent and you're going and gambling it out, or you're going and spend it on drinks, or you're going and spending it on another partner. Come on, that's not love.
Love will make them kill me. When I dance in the place like that, I'm whining my waist like that. See me love will make them kill me. Dance in the place like that, I'm whining my waist like that. Oh, my girl get warm for the action, set for the pace, and on the knees if you run the game. Oh, so just show me where you come from, show me where you represent and why. Yeah, represent and why. You get 10 out of 10 that island boys, pretty, yeah.
When you're looking for love, you're going to realize that, you know what, this beautiful physical appearance is probably only about 10% of what's important.
Represent and why, yeah, represent and why. You get 10 out of 10 that why. With 10 out of 10 with this line. And represent and why, yeah, represent and why. You get 10 out of 10 that why. With 10 out of 10 with this line. Thank God I'm alive and well. I'm alive and well. And they no fake smile at my eyes can't tell. No, yo. But mine I don't know, send you but tell them you will see me now. You see me now. You see me now. Envious people, I beg you please, when you see me, don't see me now. Don't see me now. Don't see me now. Don't see me now. Talk the things them boys say. They say talk the things. It's like them and want see my people win. I say jealousy and grudges. Hold on, wanna. Hold on, wanna. Hold on, wanna. Hold on, wanna. When I dip and ride, dip and ride, dip and ride, dip and make him wanna slip and slide, slip and slide, slip and slide, slip and the way I dip and ride, dip and ride, dip and ride, dip and swing my hips to the side, hips to the side. When I dip and
All right, so love is also supportive. Now, when your partner comes to you and they say, you know what, I have an idea, if you just shut them down right away, you didn't even listen to what they had to say, that's not love. Love will say, okay, baby, let me hear what you're thinking, all right? Let me see how I can help.
Ride, dip and ride, dip and ride, dip and make him wanna slip and slide, slip and slip the way I dip and ride, dip and ride, dip and ride, dip and bring my hips to this, when I dip and ride, dip.
Walk out, all them body girl away you walk out, kill them with confidence and walk out, bubble to the front the flow and walk out, take on your sexy start to show. We mad, walk out. Don't worry about your man, just put on a show. Pretty, walk out. Yeah, she said all she needs is a man from the Caribbean seas to fulfill all her needs. And she said all she wants is a man to take she down and make she bubble round. Go down, down, down.
Love is encouraging. Love always has a positive word or kind word to say.
Time she move is a different flavor, is a different kind of flow. And all she wants is only one song. No need for love, no kisses and no scars. She knows the game too. I say na 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 na, I say na 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 na, say na.
Come on, you can't say you love me if you're always hurting me.
I say na na, I say na na, I say na na na, say na na na, say na na na, I say na na na, say na na, I say na na, I say na na na, I say na na na, say na na na, I say na na na, I say na na na, I say na na na.
Love doesn't give up easily. If anybody tells you that they love you and then, you get into a relationship and then things are just not going exactly how they want it to go and they're just like, look, I'm done with you. They're done with you so quickly. If you have a problem, they don't even want to work it out. They just want to move on, leave you alone. Come on, that's not love. Love doesn't give up so quickly. Love says, you know what, baby, let's work it out. Let's work it out. Let's talk about it.
I could see only thing I never see. They say this how you find so rough. But I thank me for a run my family. No bad mind, but they get stuck play. On every show I smile because trust me, life is so lovely. Oh, and I'm far from finished. Oh, and I can't believe it. No, see I'm far from finished. Oh, love the life that's at the end.
Now, love begins, first of all, by loving yourself. Yes, you can't expect to be loved by somebody else if you don't love yourself. Love begins as well too when we can also love our fellow men. All right, love is not just talk, love is consistent actions. Love is a consistent set of actions. All right, so if we're talking about love and we're religious and we love God and and if we don't love our fellow men, well then we truly don't love God, because how could you love God who you've never seen? You've never seen God. I mean, I'm a believer in God, okay? Don't write me and say, oh God, this girl's an atheist. Come on, right? I believe in God. But how can you love God who you've never seen? And, you're seeing a beggar down the road and you can't even give him a $20. I mean, come on, right? Especially if he really needs it, especially if he really needs something to eat. How could we love God if we're seeing our fellow man every day and we don't even love them?
But you just have to know you do it. I feel it so good, I'm must share it. So for those who in love and they feel it, let me hear you say yeah. Put your hands in the air, yeah. All who love to share it. We jumping like we don't care. I met a girl from Trinidad. She from La Frontier area. So she know me a dancehall king. So she want teach me calypso. She done round pon the dresser. Tell me fi apply the pressure. Me see the curtain a move now. I'm a day so the door of it drop down. Juke it, juke it, juke it. Yes, only juke it, juke it, juke it. Oh, bubble, bubble, bubble. Well, Trini, bubble, 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 bubble. I told her I want to catch a rise just to take my breath. She said, baby, big mistake. You just come and me no start yet. All night, all night.
You know what? Some of us are trying to give love, but we don't even love ourselves. So work on loving yourself. Work on finding yourself, all right? And when you find yourself, believe me, you're going to find like the best person for you, okay? But you have to love yourself first, find yourself, and then you'll be in a better position to find the love of your life.
She want show me dance all bubbling. She put her foot on the speaker and tip and she touring. Yeah, she wind and bend over. One time everything start juggling. Juke it, juke it, juke it. Hey, yeah, juke it, juke it, juke it. Yes, yeah, the bubble, bubble, bubble. She wind on the double, 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 double M. I tell she I am my expert when come to wine. She said, boy, don't play with me. You better come here ready.
True love is not controlling, all right? I remember I encountered someone many, many, many years ago, all right? You all know that I'm 38 years old, heading on to 39. So I've been living for a long time. I've met all kinds of people, right? So I remember encountering someone very long time ago. And I remember this person was in a relationship with another person who controlled them. This person stopped them from talking to their family. They stopped them from talking to their girlfriends. They stopped them from talking to their male friends. So what they were doing was isolating that person. And so when they isolated that person, the other person was in a better position to abuse that person that they were isolating. So that is not love. When somebody starts controlling you, they say, oh no, you can't go around your family. That's not love, okay?
Wine, 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 wine. So long I see you. Give me a wine, 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 wine. Hey, look who. You know how long me I really see you. It could have been about a year or two.
You done hook me already. Could it be your cute pretty face? Could it be the oil in your waist? Make me feel like I had to chase you. Hook me already. Girl, you're smart, you know how to spend. Where you take care of the children. This should never end. This should never end. Na 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 na. Yo, CJ. But your back on me clothes in a garbage bag. You put it on the ground. Baby, don't do me that. You go break my heart. Can't believe you're ready to give up on me just so. Cause if you want me to go, you gotta be looking.
All right, so there's no love in drama. You know, some people are all about drama. That's not love. That's not a good sign.
You gotta be looking the way you do. You gotta be walking the way you do. Because you're hooking me. Come on. I don't know what to do, so I'm pleading. Plus you ain't give me no reason. You tell me this is the end of the season. Mash up everything, dress so. But you don't understand when you watch me. I said I see that I win the lottery. How you go pick up just so and then dump me? No, baby, no. But
Love is like the healthy oil in a relationship, all right? Love doesn't try to change you and make you somebody that you're not. I mean, come on. When you meet me, you know that I was doing broadcasting. You know that, you know what, Melissa likes to have conversation. Melissa's very warm. She's very friendly. You know I'm like that, all right? When I met you, I know that, you know what, you're a quiet person. Maybe you're an introvert. I know that you were like that, all right? No, I'm just hypothetically speaking, right? All right? So if you know that, guess what? what? I like to dance and I like to go to my dance group. That's when you met me. That's exactly how you met me. Come on. Love doesn't try to change people. Love is supportive. Okay, I know she likes to dance. When I met her, that's what she was doing. She likes to be involved in dance and she likes to dance with her dance group at the cultural center. Well, guess what? I'm going to support her. I'm going to make sure that I show up at all of her dance recitals. Love doesn't try to make you something that you're not, all right? Love appreciates you for who you are. True love allows you to be yourself. When someone truly loves you, you don't have to put on a show. You just have to be yourself, okay? You know what? If you just like, I don't know, if you like eating with your hands, because you know that's a Guyanese tradition, right? That's nothing to be ashamed of. If you go to some weddings in the countryside, you will get served in a nice leaf, and they will put this 7 curry in this leaf, and some people will just be working down that food with their hands, and nothing is wrong with that, okay? So if you like to do that, true love is not going to say, girl, what are you doing there? I don't like that. No. True love allows you to be yourself. True love isn't forced, all right? You don't have to feel like under pressure, like, oh, this is the direction I need to go in. I have to love this person. No, true love comes naturally. Love is able to flow when you're not living in the past, when you're not saying, you know what, I don't trust him because, you know what, somebody in the past did me this and they did me that, you know, I don't trust her because somebody in the past hurt me so bad. No, true love lets go of what happened in the past so that the true love inside of you can focus on the person that you're with. The love can truly flow when you just forgive people from the past, when you say, hey, I'm not living in the past. Whatever happened in the past, that belongs in the past. If, you know, listen, if John Jones hurt me, good morning, John Jones, right? I don't know anybody that named John Jones, but I like to say that name, right? So, you know, if John Jones hurt me in the past, you know, well, that's on John Jones, right? I'm dealing with a different person now, and I'm not going to hold back.
Push back, right back till you feel it. I want you to feel it.
Not because somebody hurt you in the past means that the person you're with now will hurt you, you know. You got to trust people as well, too, you know. You got to open up your heart sometimes, okay? Especially if you know you're dealing with a good person.
So y'all start winding up with your feel it.
Don't make your present partner pay for things that they did not do to you. To get love, we must first give love. Some people may not say, I love you, but their actions prove to us every day that they love us.
Maybe take a chance on me, and I can guarantee. But don't make me pay for your ex games. Don't make me pay for your ex games. And don't make me pay for your ex games. You see all that baggage? Drop it. Drop it down.
Drop it right down.
See, I'm not like none of them, babe.
True love doesn't let you go without days, without talking to your partner. All right? True love says, honey, let's clear this up. You said this, you hurt me, I really didn't like it. And you know what? I'm also sorry for the things I said too. Now, okay, good. We talked about it. That's it. Let's move on.
Through the ish, others had the chance and blew it. But now you're questioning this. Maybe take a chance on me. And I can guarantee. But don't make me pay for your ex games. Don't make me pay for your ex games. And don't make me pay for your ex games. You see all that baggage? Drop it. Drop it right down. I want you drop it.
When we were smaller, we were given books like Cinderella, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and Beauty and the Beast, and so on. And, we always read about how the prince found the princess and he kissed her on her lips. And then, she woke up and then they lived happily ever after. Now, we know that is just fairy tales, all right? Many of us grew up with that idea that, that's how you find love. But love, like I said before, love is a set of consistent actions, okay? So if somebody says that they love you, that love is going to develop over a period of time, all right? A person can't just building that nice relationship with them, going to the movies with them, watching comedies with them, talking about current affairs with them, getting their opinions on different subject matters.
Don't make me pay for your ex games. Don't make me pay for your ex games. You see all that baggage? Drop it. Drop it right down. I want you drop it.
Do you want to know about your partner's character? Don't only judge it from what you see about how they treat you. Look and see, is this person close to their mom? Do they talk to their mom? Are they respectful to their mom? Now, if you aren't respectful to your mom who made you and to your father who made you, how can you be respectful to me? So, we have to look at how they relate to others as well.
I want you to be my girl, so baby.
Do they go and check on their old granny, their old grandfather? We have to look at all of those things. Do they have children from previous relationships? And if they do, are they taking care of those children?
Don't make me pay for your ex games, but don't make me pay for your ex games. That baggage, drop it. Drop it right down. I want you drop it. Drop it right down. Baby, I want to make.
Girl, I swear you is the sweetest, and nothing me have is the weakness. You is the sweetest. No man can't do it like you. You is the sweetest, and nothing me have is the weakness. You is the sweetest. Bend your back, girl, give it to me one more time. Give it to me, give me the sugar love. Give it to me one more time. Give it to me.
I get like this every carnival time. It's this when I start to whine.
All right, so I hope I don't lose friends here, but you can't say you love me if you have a whole family at home, you have a wife and kids at home, or if you have a husband and kids at home. Come on, you can't say you love me. At least don't expect me to believe you, right?
Romance on my mind. Everybody don't know what we here for. A good time, not a long time. Hold somebody and whine. Boss man calling my line. But please get see what try. Right now, I'm drunk inside a papa. Right now, I want to wind up on somebody. Right now, so can have me buzzers. Right now, I want to wind up on somebody.
Love is faithful. Love says, you know what? Hey, this man or this girl, wow, they're so attractive. But guess what? I have a family at home. I have a wife at home. I have a husband at home. And I'm going to be faithful to my husband and wife.
When you see me, treat me nice. Just give me some cup with ice. A friend and them feeling right. Oh Lord, we in paradise. When you see me, treat me good. We come from the bad boy hood. Them people just do ya.
Rough. Hold a gal and jam shit. Jam shit. Hold a gal and jam shit. Jam shit. Hold a gal and jam shit. Jam shit. Hold a gal and jam shit. Jam shit.
All right, so you can't say you love me if you're making all of these plans, you're making major plans, and you never even ask me what I think. It's all about you. Come on. Love will include your partner. Love will say, you know what, honey, I think we should buy 2 more houses. Honey, what do you think? Love will say, honey, you know what? I'm starting a business. Or I'm thinking about starting this business. Honey, what do you think? I want your opinion, baby.
Pushing back your bumper, all I know. Right by the speaker, girl, your wine is bigger. I had to make sure that's for your boy. All I know. Oh, well, talking no learning, take me loving and breathe. Take me loving and your best with your boyfriend, I can tell. Well, daddy no learn. Take me loving and breathe. Take me loving and breathe. Break me tight and breathe. Girl, I want you to breathe. Back it up for me, baby. I love it how you dripping. A stack of tools, right now I'm tipping. Further boy and a long living. You high in cholesterol, you fried chicken. You could ease by me anytime you mind tripping. That's the perfect time for me to do the chilling. You got your mom by his daddy that you like. Your horn and your man out to swing.
Face down, face down, face down, face down. Sit down for the thing and bounce. Sit down for the thing and
Guess what? Love also apologizes. Love says these 2 words, I'm sorry. All right? Love doesn't find it hard to say I'm sorry.
you listening? Face down, face down, face down, face down. Sit down for the thing and bounce. Sit
Did you know many marriages and many relationships could have been saved by those 2 words? I'm sorry. Many arguments could have been stopped by just saying, I'm sorry.
thing and bounce. Young girl, you really can't touch this. You better sit down with the saddle and practice. Turn you round cause you got enough chat. Everything fat like a full grown cat. I got my hand for your backboard, and this is the stuff. You shake up the thing and make the drink spout. Bashment no snack, so don't tap out. Come let me show you why I run the road with it. Face down, face down, face down, face down. Sit down for the thing and bounce. Sit down for the
A person that truly loves you will be your ride or die, okay? They would ride with you through the storms. If you lose your job, they would stick with you until you get a new job, all right? If you lose your high-paying job, they wouldn't say, you know what, hey, you lost your job, you lost me as well too. No, they would stick with you through thick and through thin.
Jiggle it, bend over, practice for the work, gal brace, position, gymnast, in front the mirror, gal take a flick. Turn around, look back, take a pic. Whining skill, show them you have it. You master all of the tricks. Drop down flat and make your booty split. Tick tock, how are you tick tock? Wine to the bass now. Keep whining your waist now. Bend over, practice for the work, gal brace, position, gymnast. Love the way that you whine and jiggle it. Bend over, practice for the work, gal brace, position, gymnast. In front the mirror, gal take a flick.
All right, but last but certainly not least, true love starts by loving you. We said that early on, okay? And this is just a reminder. True love starts by loving that person in the mirror. Remember, you have to love and accept that person in the mirror, or else you wouldn't be truly able to love somebody else if you don't love yourself. So on that note, have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day. And we'll be here tomorrow, same time, same place for Girl Power. Thank you for tuning in.
6 to 36 to 36 to 36 to 36 to 30. Like a clock, hey. And every girl I miss you up on the head. Balance yourself when you're whining, tip on your toe. I take your time, I want you put it back low. Girl, come wine, put it dilly down low. I want you dilly down low. Look how the girl just whine like a pro. My girl is hot, Indian and you, my girl. I want you take tiki tiki taka tiki taka tiki taka tiki taka tiki taka tiki taka. I want you tick 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 tick. Yeah, girl, I want you tiki tiki taka tiki taka tiki taka tiki taka tiki taka tiki taka. I want you tick 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 tick. Lower, 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 lower.
White to the ground and
hey, 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 can't done. C to the A to the AMP. You ready now? I really want you walk up on the thing, girl. Boots back and get wild on the thing, girl. Face down on the thing, girl. I bust a tick tock, no on the thing, girl. No. I really want you walk up on the thing, girl. Boots back and get wild on the thing, girl. Hey, face down on the thing, girl. I bust a tick tock, no on the thing, girl. Hey, 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 can't done. C to the A to the AMP. Right now, I really want you walk up on the thing, girl. Boots back and get wild on the thing, girl. Face down on the thing, girl. I bust a tick tock, no on the.
Pan, Jamayan, woman asleep, them man, Iron Man, oh, he's sweeter than honey, lick the pan, Jamayan, woman asleep, them man. I bring it, 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 bring the iron love. I bring it, 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 bring the iron. Hold it, make some noise, jump around and make some noise. Hold it.
Patrice again, Nessa. We go kill him with the wine, girl. Kill him with the wine, girl. That's right. Hey. Splash. Body wet up, wet girl. What the man them prefer? Watch drip drop on a wine and bubble. Body wet like this, my baby. Body wet up, wet man them.